Hello, 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 hello out there. One more time. It is the next beginning of the next school week here with my homie Webbs. We are back for Hoodlum Culture this week. Webbs, what's good?
What isn't good, I think, is more the question. What isn't good?
What isn't good? That's actually a profoundly deep statement. Thank you for making that so passionately to begin our program this evening. Uh, it's
Hey, it's Monday Eve. I gotta be deep and insightful.
oh indeed, oh indeed, oh indeed. Um, given the season, I'm not a holiday. I'm not a holiday person, which I think drives my wife absolutely crazy. But I do not dig the holidays. I'm not a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Thanksgiving person. But we thought we'd had some fun tonight. We're going to talk about gifts, and not gifts like Christmas presents, but gifts as in graphic interchange format. So gifts, what they are, kind of what you can use them for in your classroom, even if you're not a classroom teacher, kind of fun things you can do to make gifts to, you know, if you're like Webbs and you pass these gifts around during your, work day in order to, you know, signal your feelings on certain topics or subjects. And we're going to talk to her about that in just a moment. Gifts are a very, very creative way to express one's feelings in usually with images that are taken from pop culture or from very funny things off of the internet. So, Webbs and our soft ask a software developer question tonight. Like, how do you use GIFs, graphic interchange format files, in order to liven up your work day?
So, as if you're a longtime listener of the show, you know I work remotely, and so my team is distributed all across the country. We don't get to convene all in the same place. And one thing I find that builds rapport between me and my colleagues is our liberal use of GIFs. We use them all the time, multiple times a day. It's just kind of a neat way to relate to someone, to personalize things, to share references. Sometimes sharing gifts can help you learn more about a person. So this actually just happened to me last week. A colleague of mine had mentioned like he needed more Red Bull, and so he shared a gif of Red Bull. He just searched Red Bull. And what happened to come up was the former and current members of the Red Bull F1 racing team, and one of which happens to be one of my favorite F1 racers, Daniel Ricciardo. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Daniel Ricciardo. Oh, and also the other guy, Max Verstappen. But so I went into this whole long thing about like he doesn't actually race for them anymore because he's racing for Renault, but next year he's going to be racing for McLaren and blah blah blah. And one of my colleagues was like, you know more about F1 than anyone I've ever met. And I was like, well, yeah, I get that because I've known about it for all of like 2 or 3 months now, but I'm deep in the weeds on it. Anyway, so it led to this whole discussion about something that I enjoy. And so my colleagues got to know me better because of that. So, yeah, gifts. Also, I use them a lot when I give presentations for work because it kind of livens things up. Like there is a GIF we use a lot because we use this framework called Terraform, and Terraform basically will like reset your stuff back to the way it was. So if somebody screws with it, you know run your Terraform pipeline, and it'll set it back to whatever settings you wanted it to be before somebody screwed with it. And the GIF that we use, my colleague found, and it's basically like it's like a little, what is it? Hold on, let me bring it up real quick so I can remind myself. It's like a little bird that comes out of a box. You close the box and the bird comes up and it like hits the thing so the box lid closes again. So it's just like Terraform where like you mess with it and it comes out and it fixes the thing. And it's just a GIF that just plays over and over again. But it gets the point across and it's much more entertaining than just like words on a screen because nobody wants to just read words on a screen.
Absolute fact.
GIFs.
Absolute facts. So, like, we're gonna go into this tonight for a number of reasons. First of all, they're fun to make and they're fun to use, but also they're highly visual. So, being able to look at something and infer the meaning behind it is really, really powerful, especially for our friends who are EL learners, right? I can look at a picture and say, okay, I'm assuming this person slips on ice, and that was a response to somebody just made a mistake, and they put this gift of somebody slipping on ice. Oh, cool, cool. This person is saying I made a mistake. All right, got you. Um, it's also a scenario in which it's accessible, right? So I don't need to be able to hear in order to see the GIF. They are created without sounds. All right, so our friends who are blind, it doesn't really help them. But for our friends who are deaf, I can look at that. I don't need to have any, and you can add words to them as well. We're going to kind of build some with words tonight and some without words. But very highly visual. And those who have the ability to see, we learn 80% of the stuff we know from looking at something and copying it. That's how we get down in terms of our sighted learning, right? So we have
I
that.
think
Go ahead, Webs.
I think too, sometimes when you're sharing a GIF in response to something, it requires a fair bit of dexterity as far as background knowledge, as far as understanding different social constructs. There's a lot of complex analytical thinking that goes on when using a GIF to make a joke or to respond to something, and also when interpreting something and understanding it. So there's a lot of complex thinking that goes on, or even like building gifts is like a whole other thing, because you have to know like where's the right time to cut it. You have to keep it short enough, but also still convey the meaning that you want to.
So, um, and GIF. So it is GIF, or is it GIF? Which one's the actual term from the dude? The
I
guy who
believe it's
created.
GIF.
Okay, so it is GIF, even though some people say GIF, or it is GIF, even though some people say GIF, which is
I
what it
mean, we
is.
don't give Christmas gifts.
I mean, uh, who
You
knows?
don't get birthday gifts.
Perhaps you would give birthday gifs if you wanted. If we had a movement to say gifs is how we say it, we could have a movement to change that. Look at how judgment is spelled. I can spell judgment any way I want, with the e or without the e, and it's still right. So we could, if we as a people decided that we want to call Christmas gifts, gifs, we could do that. We could rise
That's
up.
true.
You know,
Hashtag Christmas gifs.
indeed. So if I'm not mistaken, we had all kind of what is the irregardless is a word now.
Yeah, that
So I mean, come on,
that's a
man. We
word. I mean, I try really hard not to be judgy about it, but that the sound of that word
I'm like
grates on my
I've heard
nerves a
it so
bit.
often. It's like I thought it was a word already. So it is what it is. It was like I had a teacher when I was in elementary school that was like, "Ain't isn't a word. Ain't isn't a word." And we was like, "We can look it up in the dictionary. It is a word. I can I can say I ain't about to do that, and that's actually a sentence." And you could say that you don't like how I say that, but that is actually a sentence, and people will understand exactly what I mean. So if people understand what I mean, obviously it is a sentence. Teacher person who has
I
got
agree with that now. Past me didn't agree with that, but me now definitely does.
yeah. I mean, I get down with all the homies. I mean, like literally half the music I listen to. If you were actually to break down the sentence structure, you like that's not actual English. But anyway, let's get to the hustle today, Webs. And the first thing we're going to kind of talk about is gifts as a personal brand idea, if you would want to say. So one of the things that's really cool to do with your kid, with your students, with yourself. I do this unfortunately all the time, and I have like a hard drive full of like random faces that I've made for gifts. Um, is to create gifts of yourself. And before we get to that situation, we're going to kind of look at, where can you acquire gifts very, very easily? And that would be Giphy. So Giphy is really, really cool. And kind of to Webb's point there, it's rather easy to acquire things from Giphy. Um, I'm in love now with it. It used to be so simple. That iced tea is that's really dope right there at the top. But Giphy's a very, very cool place to go acquire things. So let's actually look at that. Used to be so simple. He looks like not the iced tea of my youth, but it is what it is. So there's iced tea, great. And inside Giphy, first of all, you don't have to create an account. You can create an account if you want. If you want to save gifts, you can create an account. If you don't, just want to utilize gifts, you can do that. But I can favorite that and say I like that. There's my link. There's my, I can go and click that out in terms of media. All right, copy all those. I can embed, and that's a great way and make the embed responsive. So if the kid is looking on their phone or someone is looking on their cell phone, you can do that. But going in and copying that code, we've already gone through Canvas and how you can put those things into the Canvas courses. Then I have my gifts inside the Canvas courses. We'll kind of look at that at the very end. Y'all got this stuff. How do I get this into a Canvas course for students to be able to utilize? So that's that. So I've got an account, so I'm gonna click there. And what you'll notice is I got some Dragon Ball Z. I got some Wire because the Wire is my show. I got the Transformers there, and I got two of myself. Now, I've got a whole bunch more of myself. I didn't want to be uber vain and put all my ones of myself on the Giphy, but I do these a lot of times to respond to what kids do. Like the now one, when I look at kid stuff and I'm like, all right, dude, no, I don't understand what you're talking about, fam. That was one I use as an example all the time. And this one has a transparent background, and we're kind of build the ones with transparent backgrounds, full backgrounds, no backgrounds, whatever. All right. So, really cool. Sean Patrick Higgins, my homeboy, SPH, 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 4 times on Twitter. Kind of like really opened my eyes to this ability to utilize this to make sure the students have fun customizing. And that Webb's always talks about the autolysis thing with the customization. Well, I can build a GIF over anything that I would like, which makes it really, really fun to deal with. And if you've got Chromebooks, you can do this on Chromebooks with no problems whatsoever. Webbs, did you do anything in the classroom that was um, very visual, like any visual digital art and stuff with students, or opportunities for students to just create in a kind of a free form platform rather than this is what it needs to look like.
I introduced my last year of teaching, I introduced the idea of sketch notes, which is probably the most visual thing that I did. Like I use my sketch notes as models. And because for me, like that's something I wish someone had shared with me a long time ago because that form of taking notes really resonates with me. So I wanted to give students the opportunity for that as well. So that's probably the thing that I did that was most visual that I can think of off the top of my head at the moment.
Super dope, super dope.
Oh, we did stop motion movies.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
pretty freeform and visual. I showed them how they could use their iPads to just like draw on a whiteboard and take pictures and then slide back and forth in the Photos app to just make the videos go forward and back. And then you have the option, like you could bring those all into something like iMovie or whatever. But it was easy enough to get the point across just to have them screen share and slide their video back and forth. And they really liked that it was easy to move it forward and go backward all at the same time. So that was another like visual medium that we used quite a bit.
Absolutely. So creating stop motion videos, very very fun thing to deal with. Extremely fun actually. One of my favorite things to do. A little bit more challenging with the Chromebooks now that like 80% of my school has Chromebooks now, which makes me sad. Um, but the way we're going to do the gifts today is going to be mostly with the idea that people don't have iPads, right? Um, Unfortunately, that iPad market for schools is shrinking like very, very small, unfortunately. And so we're going to walk you through how to do this all on a Chromebook. It's a lot easier to do on the iPad, in my opinion, but it can be done on a Chromebook with no worries. All right, so we're going to kind of walk you through it.
Well,
Go ahead, Webs.
especially too on iOS, you have shortcuts now that will just take a video and turn it to a GIF for you.
And customize it. Keynote creates GIFs as an export, as exportable file. So
Format.
there's tons of stuff you can deal with it. The Chromebook, I would I like doing it on the computer though because it takes a little bit longer and there's a lot more customization to it, and you'll kind of see that as we go through. All right, so
That's interesting because the reason I like to do it on shortcuts is because I'm lazy and I don't want to customize it. I just want the output.
I mean, it is. I mean,
To each their own.
I dig it. All right, and then we're gonna start kind of at like the gifts, the personal gifts, right? So All right, cool. I'm not gonna do the Rudolph yet. So right here, this is Flipgrid Shorts. All right. You can take any video off of Flipgrid and do the exact process that we're about to rock and roll. You can take a video off of your computer, a video off your webcam. It doesn't matter where the video lives as long as it's a video of you. So ideally, we want something between 5 and 10 seconds, not anything uber long. So here's this video. Great. Funny faces are always great. Laughing is always a good thing, but kids can do what they want. All right, great. There it is. I like that. That works. All right, cool. Yep, yep, yep. Excellent. So I'm going to go and take this one right here. And I'm going to download it. So that download function, once you hit the share button, that download button is going to pop up. So I'm going to click that. When I click that, that's going to open up. I'm just going to call this example of Mike doing a funny gift. All right, I'm going to put that in that hard drive and click. All right, cool. So there it is there. All right, cool. About 6 seconds, that works. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my trusty friend over here, 123 Apps. And 123 Apps is amazing because it is free 99. Doesn't cost anything, totally free. So if I need to cut the video in any way and edit it, move it anywhere else, I'm going to click the video cutter there. It's going to say, hey, yo, Mike, choose a file. I'm going to click the choose file button. Example of Mike doing a funny GIF, open. And it literally takes no time to get it in there. So great. So perhaps I want to go and say, I want to crop this a little bit because I don't want all this stuff in there. So I'm going to hit the crop button there and I'm going to go to custom crop and I'm going to move this thing around. So perhaps I don't want all that back there. Perhaps I don't want all that back there either. Perhaps I'm going to bring that down just a little bit. All right, cool. I can crop it the way I would like. Excellent. Quality. I don't want the quality as high as I can do. It's just 480 here. Great. Do I want all that time? Yep, I'm gonna keep all that time at the save button. Great. Not uber large. I'm gonna download it. I'm gonna put that in the same place. Save it and replace that. Or just replace it. All right, cool. So you'll notice now it's really tiny. Excellent. Now let's have some fun with it. So I'm going to go here to unscreen. And unscreen is a really cool product because it will get rid of the background for you on a video. All right. It'll do it. You don't need to pay. You can pay for it. It'll leave a small watermark on it. But I mean, for what I'm going to deal with it for, I'm not about to pay for the actual tool. Hit the upload clip button. What I want, that. Hit the open button. It does a pretty good job depending on the light in the picture. So go upload that and excellent job there, right? The background is all out of there. Pretty cool. Wonderful. Now, in terms of customization and stuff, your kid's gonna really be like, oh my goodness, hey Mr. Lang, what kind of things can I do? You can do a lot of stuff, kid. I'm gonna show you multiple things you can do right here very quickly. First, just inside of Unscreen, and next with another website that doesn't cost anything. You know, got that really nicely. The only issue is I had that black pole behind me. So you can see a little piece of that black pole, but everything else is really nice and clean around there, right? So I can go and put a background behind there automatically. So they have backgrounds that are there. So lots of customization options that are already built in there. Cool. Or I can leave it transparent. I can leave it a color behind there. So if you just want to do colors, I can put images there that are just still images as well. So lots of customization. You want to keep it like to 5-6 seconds because that's all it's going to take here inside here. You'll see that the darker the background, you'll see that the watermark back there. You can always crop that out later on if that gives you perhaps a problem with it. I'm going to think transparent one though, and I'm going to download the transparent one. All right, cool. I'm going to click that one again. Yeah. Excellent. So I've got that transparent GIF. Again, you can still add a video behind it, images. The kid can do what they want. So I've got that. Now, because I want to go and add some funk to it, I'm gonna go up here to Easy Gift, and this is another place that kids are gonna really have some fun and enjoy themselves. All right, so I'm gonna sit there and say, okay, cool. I could take a video, I could upload a GIF here, I could do a lot of things. So I'm just gonna go to my GIF maker here. All right, and I'm gonna choose my file. I'm gonna choose the GIF that I just made and upload it. Again, this doesn't cost any money. It's totally free. Give some time to animate the GIF. Come on. Why are you being silly? There it goes.
This has become one of my mom's favorite things is to respond using GIFs.
I mean, it's just it's fun, man.
Right. And I've been thinking a lot about our episode on Thursday. That was probably our most popular episode. And it was something that a lot of folks engaged with. And I think that for some reason, there's this disconnect between things that we enjoy as people and then applying those things to the classroom. And I'm not really sure why. Like I there's lots of teachers I know who love playing games, who love you know, being on the internet and talking with their friends. And yet for some reason it's as though like when the school box happens and we step into the school box, suddenly like those things we can't use, we can't do, we don't want to integrate into the classroom. When like we know as humans, as adults, we find those things engaging, why would our students not find those things engaging?
Absolute facts, man. But I mean, but it takes you as the teacher to say, okay, look, fam, I'm going to integrate these things inside there because it is fun. And so I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
take the raw video up here, and just go video to GIF. Take that video that's there. I can still change the current position in terms of if I wanted to start 2 seconds in instead of at zero, I could do that. I'm gonna leave the frame rate exactly the same. All right, keep it 10. I'm gonna keep that there. I'm just gonna convert it to GIF.
Also, how, if you share your gifts with your students, like how keen are they going to be able to respond with their teacher as a GIF?
Facts. I mean, there's just stickers essentially that you can drop all over.
Yeah, right. Moving stickers. They're like Harry Potter stickers, but
So
with like less turfing.
we've got that deal there. But what I like about Easy GIF is, first of all, I'm going to optimize it, so it's going to make it smaller for me. So when you compress it a little bit, you don't want to compress it that high. About 35, where it gives you, is kind of where you want to compress it, make it smaller. So if you've got space issues on your device or whatever, um, I mean, I go a little crazy sometimes when I'm bored. I make a lot of little stupid gifts, and I've got a hard drive full of crap. I optimize them all just to kind of compress them a little bit. Webs.
It's a trade-off between the size of the file. So obviously the larger the file, the more space it takes up, and the quality of the file. So if you make it a smaller file, you're going to lose some quality as far as the image goes. That's the trade-off.
And so, I mean, if you make a lot of them, great. If you don't, then, I mean, just keep it the same size it is going to be. But you can make them in reverse. So a lot of the kids, what the kids were doing was like, hey, I had a glass of water, and I drank a glass of water, and I was drinking it in reverse. Like the water would go back into the cup or whatever. A lot of really, really cool stuff. So Optimizer already did. You can put it in reverse if you would like to. In terms of the effects, you can come in here to kind of play around with the hue and the lightness and everything. You can go grayscale if you wanted to, sepia, all those things are already built into it. It doesn't cost, again, this is a free tool, doesn't cost anything. Add any filters you want. I'm gonna add a camera frame inside of mine actually. All right. It works pretty quickly. It processes things pretty fast. The other cool thing about it, so now I have this photograph camera around my GIF. You could really like be really creative. And again, there's no judgment. I think that makes it very attractive to humans, right? I can make it the way I want, and if you get it, great. If you don't get it, go jump off a bridge. All right. So you can speed it up or slow it down, but you can also write on it, right? And so if you wanted to have a message on your gift, excuse me, did I not hit that? You can write on it as well. So if I wanted to go and say, yeah, I know, Uh, Mr. Lang is strange. I just say Mr. Lang is strange. You could write it if you wanted to change the text as you went through each frame. You could do that if you wanted to. I'm not going to do all that, but I
Does
have.
it do it does it do just video or video and multiple images?
It'll do images as well, and we're going to go back to
Okay. Because I was just thinking, like, oh, stop motion animation lends itself perfectly to building GIFs and creating GIFs.
All right, so we got that situation inside there with the SOS. You can censor things inside here as well. So if you had somebody's face that you wanted to censor, and I'm gonna go and let's make the pixels back now. I want to pixelate my eyes there. You could do that. Like literally, the only limit is your own imagination. It's going to take a while to kind of get through that because we have to go through all of those different. There it is. So it pixelated my eyes there. So
It's
let's
kind
see.
of creepy.
I mean, it is what it is. You can add an overlay on top of it if you would like. So colors and all that kind of stuff like that. If you had another image to put that on top of it, you can do that. You want to watermark it. So if the kid want to take their logo and put their logo on top of that. So if I wanted to do, oops, if I wanted to do this, for example, there we go. It's too big, and it didn't do what I wanted to do anyway. It's too big. If I wanted to edit that out, I would do it. I'm not going to do it. But anyway, I messed my picture up, which is what it is. So I had a smaller, if I had a smaller, like a PNG probably, I could put it in the bottom there a little bit. I can't drag and drop it. That kind of sucks. Anyway, I can't delete it either. Let's see if I can go backwards.
Can you select it and cut it?
I'll just get backwards.
Or
So
that?
split it. I'm gonna add frames to it. I'm just gonna save it here. Mike video of himself. GIF. Excellent. That can live in your Google Drive. That can live anywhere you want. Don't be surprised when you do this though. So I'm gonna hit show and finder here, and I'm gonna double click there. And what you'll notice there on the screen is it's going to show on your computer frame by frame. It still is going to move just like this. Just on your computer, it's going to show it frame by frame. If you took that and put it in a Google um, slide or keynote or whatever, it would start moving that way it was. Webs.
Do you know if it does that same thing on a Chromebook? Because I know on a Mac, it automatically opens it in preview. So it treats it as like a bunch of separate images. Is that the same or different on a Chromebook?
I want to say if it's in Google's in the drive, it works. Just it'll show it as a GIF.
Mm-hmm.
If in their downloads, I couldn't tell you because I've never downloaded a GIF on their deal. I just know once you get in Google Drive,
Gotcha.
it'll behave just like a GIF.
On a Mac, if you just preview it, like action word preview it by like say selecting it in Finder and tapping the space bar, it'll actually play the full GIF for you.
Awesome sauce. So you're saying if I do this, you say click on it.
And it's already selected, so just tap the space bar
There it is.
and then you can see it playing.
All right, cool game. All right, so that's taking pictures of yourself and just kind of running through it. You can do it challenges like that. So if you're like, okay, cool, I want you to create a gift of how you feel about today's math lesson with your own face. Really quick way to do that. Once kids get onto it, it's like a 3-minute process. Video myself really quickly, boom, upload, smash it. Here it is. Oh my God, that was amazing. And one of the things to kind of to challenge your kids to do is to create gift packs, right? So essentially all these emotions that I can demonstrate through the gifts. So if I need to show Miss So and So, yo fam, I'm not getting what you're talking about. Let me put that in the Google chat, the chat in the Google Meet. Here's this gift with a link to my gift. Okay, cool. I know that Bob is like, he don't get it because there is no You have the raise hand function in Google Meet now, but you don't have the like down or no, I don't get it or whatever. This is another visual way for you as a teacher to understand what's going on.
I
Well,
think also it's an opportunity to have some, one of the things that really tends to spark creativity is having some boundaries. And the time boundary on a GIF would make it so that they'd really have to give you the condensed version of their understanding if they were to use a GIF to respond to an essay question or to summarize a concept or do it as an exit ticket. They'd have to really think about like what are the big ideas that can answer what this concept is, and to be able to do that in like 10 seconds.
facts, 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 facts. So that is again the personal deal. Hey, I just want to do gifts of myself. The other thing that about gifts that's really powerful is the having to be have a certain level of global and situational awareness of your time in the world, right? So a lot of the gifts that are made are gifts that are gifts of news conferences or events or somebody did something at an award show or whatever, and you're really like, oh, okay, cool. Now I got this gift, this funny gift from somebody respond. Like think about the whole presidential campaign was just
Just do it live. Do it live.
I mean, again, that is my favorite clip on YouTube of all time, of all time, because it's just somebody just losing their stuff, right? So, how can we go and take things that kids might see off YouTube, their favorite cartoons, um, clips of their favorite pop culture icons, weird things they saw on Saturday Night Live the night before. How do they make things do things that way as well? We can do that in a similar manner. Go ahead, Webs.
My roommate and I were just watching the Hot Ones episode with Paul Rudd. You know, the where we got the gift for look at us. Look at us. Who would have thought? Not me. Like where that comes from. And that's what sparked it, was like that piece of pop culture made us go back and watch the whole episode again.
I mean, so you got it from there. I mean, your kids
Look at
are
us.
your
Look
kids
at us.
are. Oh, of course, I didn't put that did that disturb on, and she knows we're on the show, which is also weird. Anyway, um, the looking at the your kids are consumers of pop culture, so they're going to they're going to want to know again, Among Us gifts, Dragon Ball Z gifts, all these things that they consume. How can we make gifts out of this? So we're going to take a something that happened recently and we're going to turn it into a gift just because it'll be fun. So let's take a look. So if we look inside here, let's look at my man Rudy
Oh,
Giuliani, right? So there's Rudy. And if you've not seen this before and you was like sleep, here's Rudy with the dye like off of his head, which is hilarious. And so say I want it to I want to display to my teacher that something's very difficult for me, right? That I'm like sweating bullets here. Like this is hard. This might be a reference that I utilize to say, oh my goodness, like this guy is definitely under some pressure here. He's so under so much pressure, his dye in his hair is actually melting away, right? So let's go and see if we can find like a really good. See if I play that. The U.S. District Court judges. That's pretty dope. So I'm gonna take that there. I'm gonna start it there. So cool. I've got Rudy looking at the camera. He's looking at this intense look on his face. All right, super cool. You could use any screen recording program that you have on your device, anyone. But if you are going to do this with students, the easiest one or the one I find the greatest because it would also save your material really easy for you is Loom. And kids get free Loom accounts as well. All right, so they would get the free premium version of the account. So I'm just gonna click my Loom here. So click my Loom here, bada bing, it's up there. And I'm gonna say, hey Loom, I don't need you to have my camera on. I don't need you to have the microphone on either. I'm just want the screen is the only thing that I want. It's all I need here. I don't need anything else. I'm just gonna have the current tab here, and I'm gonna hit the start recording button. It's gonna say, yo, Mike, your microphone is muted. Yep, that works proceed anyway, we're good to go. So I'm gonna click there. And I'm gonna give it a second, and now I'm gonna push and move down.
When you say there's no evidence, Sydney was
the eyes there, the eyes. You see his eyes, but right there.
Sydney was giving you information that come from affidavits from other people. Sydney was giving you information that come from affidavits from
That's
other
just
people.
coming off his face. That's
With
like
a very
super
big
dope.
spike.
So I'm gonna click that and stop it. And the cool thing about Loom is, first of all, it tells you where you got the video, so I don't have to like imagine where I got the video, which is cool. I'm gonna call this. You're making me sweat here, teacher. So cool. I got this thing here. If I play the video through.
When you say there's no evidence, Sydney was giving.
All right, cool. Not uber clean, but I don't need to be uber clean right now. I'm gonna download that video similar to how we did the Flipgrid video. I'm gonna put that on the deal. I'm gonna call it "You're Making Me Sweat, Teacher." That works. Save. Awesome. That's there. We're good to go. Now, what I don't want is all the stuff here, right? I don't want all this junk. And all the junk being, oh, something happened to webs. Indeed. All the junk here is a problem. We don't want all the junk that's there. So what we're going to deal with is we're going to deal with editing the junk out. So how we're going to do that, we're going to take our 1, 2, 3 apps. Indeed. What happened to you, dude?
And I'm back. I unplugged the wrong thing.
So we're gonna go again to the video cutter, and what we're gonna do is we don't want people to know we got this from YouTube, right? That's kind of, we want to keep that a secret. No YouTube, no one should know where we got this video from. All right, so I'm gonna go right here to "You're Making Me Sweat, Teach." I don't want anyone to know I got this from YouTube, so I'm gonna go to my custom crop, and I'm going to go and I'm gonna very neatly move those things around. So the handle's right around the video there. Very nice, very nice. Now I'm gonna play.
U.S. District Court judges. When you say there's no evidence.
So I really like the eyes there. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna play around with
U.S. District Court judges. When you say there's no evidence.
Those eyes, that's like really, that's gold for me. So I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna move this down. I just want his eye. The eyes are golden right there. The eyes looking like they're about to pop up his head. For some reason, I like that. So hit the play button.
When you say there's no evidence.
All right, and now I'm gonna just play around.
U.S. District Court judges. When you say there's no evidence. When you say there's no evidence.
And I'm gonna keep it. That's like a 3-second GIF. You can go up to about 10 seconds if you want to, but I'm gonna keep it that way. Now that's all from YouTube. You are not gonna be able to tell this is from YouTube once I'm finished with it. The quality, I'm gonna keep it 720p so it looks really nice, and I'm gonna hit the save button. Download that. Great. Save and replace it. Excellent. Why did you not do what I told you to do? I'm gonna download this new file because it's being silly. Teach. Put a 1 in front of it. Save it. There we go. So I got my video there. I play it.
When you say there's no evidence.
Bada bing. You can't tell that I got that from YouTube, which is awesome. So now I got this really cool clip that's there. Great, fine, dandy. If I want to do some other stuff to it, what can I do? I can go right here to my GIF, video to gift, a GIF. All right there. Open it. Upload it. Bada bing. Again, you cannot tell where I got that video from, which is the whole point. I got nice little cool GIF there. I'm gonna keep it there. It's less than 2 minutes. All that works. All right, convert it to the GIF. Bada bing. Really, really slick. And that took us like 3 to 5 minutes. Once the kids start doing it a lot, You'll be able to turn those things off in 45, 50 seconds. Literally, it's just finding the source material that you need. Webs.
I did one in the same time that you did and posted it to our Twitter.
Bada bing. So any of those things, you can go add things to it or whatever. I make the save button. I'm gonna say sweating and dying. Works. Save it. Bada bing. So quick GIF, very very quick. Again, having kids. If you're talking about college and career readiness, as a lot of people are going to talk about college career readiness, which is another term that I've begin to dislike. Why would I waste time in quotation marks showing kids how to do that? Oh, because social media management is a very lucrative profession, right? If you've ever looked at Wendy's social media or any of the really, really good social media brands out there, or have somebody running their social media that's really, really bright, you will see that is a job, and that is an in-demand, skills-based. You got to be able to think very, very quickly. You have to be able to go and come back to people. If you've never watched Wendy's versus the other fast food store chains on Twitter, do yourself a favor, follow Wendy's just because it's funny. They generally have really good burns from people. And again, GIFs are part of that, memes are part of that, and just being very, very quick with it is also part of that.
I would also say that is just what you have to be able to be adept to do in today's world, because if you step into it because you use a GIF without knowing what the background is, or use some meme without knowing what the background is, you could get yourself in a lot of hot water professionally because you weren't aware of that context. So it's important to understand, for students to understand, what is the context I'm referring to? Where does this come from? For example, after the whole Four Seasons Total Landscaping debacle, I decided to switch my Zoom background or Teams background to the Four Seasons Total Landscaping background. And that's a little bit edgy because I didn't know how people were going to take it. Everyone found it hilarious. So it's also about weighing those consequences. It ended up building a lot of rapport with my coworkers. But if I didn't know the context around it and just put that background up without knowing and then left it there for the next few weeks, that might have had a different outcome. So I think it is a career readiness skill to understand the larger context of things and to understand what are you sharing, what is its origin, all that kind of stuff, because you can accidentally, unintentionally, I'm going to say, step into some bad situations if you're not aware of what you're sharing and where it comes from.
Absolutely. But also, it shows a level of present
cultural competence
and awareness, right? I am paying attention. This is why I made this meme or this GIF, because it's funny, because last night so and so did X, Y, and Z. Okay, got it. You're also going to kind of it's going to reveal itself who does what, kind of what Webb's kind of alluded to in the beginning. If you're politically astute, hey, I can meme like a GIF like that. You're gonna that got it. All right, cool. The Four Seasons deal, I understand. But if you're someone who's not politically astute, and Webbs were to share that with you, and suddenly you're like, all right, I don't get it. I don't understand that reference. It also shows that you have to be able to communicate to an audience, right? An audience that's politically astute is going to definitely understand exactly what Webbs just did, understand the Rudy Giuliani video we just cut up. But if I'm speaking to somebody who disdains politics and doesn't watch the news, then using a GIF like that is not going to be as effective. Webbs.
Or kindergartners. If your audience is you're putting something together for kindergartners, they probably won't be as up on politics. So that's something to consider as well. If you did a Daniel Caught Tiger GIF, that might go over with that audience better. And that is, I believe that's one of the standards even, is being able to write for a specific audience. I think this is an especially engaging thing with older kids. It's definitely engaging with younger kids too, but it's even more so engaging, I think, with older kids who have a more complex sense of humor and are more, I'm not going to say more complex. They have a sense of humor that's maybe more keyed into current events than younger kids might be, because that just may not be the thing that they're interested in. So that's something to consider too, especially if you're a high school, college instructor or whatever, integrating something like this.
But also Laurel and Hardy, right? So remembering the Laurel and Hardy in your class, visuals, right? I even if I don't get your reference, if it's something visually funny, I'm gonna laugh at it. I may not know who it
Mm-hmm.
is, but it might some. So there are plenty of gifts that I have no idea what. Like I don't watch Friends, I don't watch, and please somebody else share a gift from Friends, and I'm like, okay, cool, I understand this, what that person's face looks like, or the emotion this person's trying to convey in terms of what just happened between you and I. So it doesn't have always have to be you have this level of astuteness. It could be if it is visually, if the storytelling elements of the gift are visual enough, I'm going to totally understand what you're talking about, and that's something else to take very very close and keeping close in mind. Given that there's a lot of gifts that once somebody shares it, then I want to go actually see the context and where the gift came from, and then I watch the movie and I'm like, okay, that's really funny. That person, did X, Y, and Z.
There is one of a dude like at a park, and he has a chair, and he walks up and he like flicks open the chair and sits down like, I'm settling in to watch the show. Interesting little tidbit about that GIF is that it's actually Jason Momoa from a show from like the early 2000s that was on the CW/the WB, because I think that was the WB at the time. But yeah, that's Jason Momoa and is the chair flicking guy, which is another, like, I didn't know what that was from, but the GIF itself like conveyed this idea of like, oh, this is gonna be a good show. Kind of like the popcorn GIF. Another one I use at work a lot is IT Crowd, and it's the one dude, I can't think of his name, with the curly hair, and he lifts the bucket of popcorn onto his desk and he goes, okay, go, and he starts eating.
I mean, there's ton. I mean, and again, if you think of your favorite movies, you have in your mind, there are gifable moments in those movies. Like Big Lebowski, the most of that movie is gifable. So if you've never seen the Big Lebowski, that movie is hilarious. Um, The Wire has 4 seasons of just uber gifts galore in terms of references and things we said. Go ahead, Webbs.
Random tip if you are a GIF lover, one of my favorite apps for my phone is called GIF Wrapped, and it makes it so that you can have a personalized GIF library that you save either to like iCloud or Dropbox or myriad other places. But it makes it so like the GIFs you use most often are readily accessible to you. So I use the Jennifer Lawrence yeah okay GIF a lot. I also use the Stephen Colbert I Told You So banner GIF a lot. The Tony Stark I Need It. The monkey hitting the drum disgusted at your dad joke. That one's especially for my roommate. And the one from Brooklyn Nine-Nine where Captain Holt is like, I cannot even.
Indeed. All right, so the last one we're going to look at is how do you take multiple images very quickly and throw them into GIFs. This is especially good to use because if you're trying to demonstrate something as an instructor to students, GIFs oftentimes help you do that a lot easier. Video, longer, right? GIFs are going to repeat over and over and over. And so if I don't get it the 5th time, I may give it the 25th time, right? I'm going to take this little piece and we're just going to use the exact process that we just did. So I'm going to come here and there are multiple tools to screenshot, but we're going to come to that YouTube video first, all right? And so I really dig, if you're someone who, I think they still have their Black Friday deal. Cloud App is like magic for this, but I'm going to do it just as screenshots. So
also shout out to Cloud App because they have amazing customer service. Let me tell you.
And how would you know this, Webbs? What happened?
Because on my old computer, the Cloud app like would do this weird thing where it would, if I sized it to a certain size, it would glitch and stop recording and like disappear. And so I was on the phone with customer service for like a half an hour, and she like sent a follow-up and had me downgrade my version. And we just went through so many steps, and she was so delightful and patient and followed up and made sure that I got my issue resolved. I ended up getting a new computer, so it wasn't an issue anymore. But major shout out to Cloud App. They have good customer service.
Indeed. So that's even another reason to copy it, right? So we're going to go ahead and rock and roll here. And Cloud App is really a great tool to use this with, but you could use a number of different apps to do that. If you can just screenshot on your device to do the same thing here. So I'm going to use Cloud App to do it. And I'm going to go up here and hit the capture button. And what I want to capture, I'm just going to highlight my entire page here. All right, cool. End screen out. So that's the first page I'm going to deal with. Boom. It's going to pop up. Great. Other thing that's cool about Cloud App is I can add text to it, right? So I can add text. I can also add arrows if I wanted to. So I'm going to go and create an arrow that, points there. And I'm going to make that arrow not black. I want it to be pink so we can see it. Make it pink. Make it pink. There we go. Cool. I can write on it if I wanted to or whatever. And this, the free version of Cloud App does this. It's not going to let you record screens, but in terms of screenshotting and screenshotting to the cloud, which I want, that's going to do it. So I got that first one there, and I'm just going to close that and save it. Cool. I'm going to go here. The next thing I wanted to do, I had to bring that into Loom, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to click my Cloud App. Hit the capture button. I'm actually going to bring this a little higher this time. All right.
See what I tell you? My mom's all about those gifts.
Indeed, indeed. So I'm going to hit that Loom right there. That's our Loom deal.
She said gift wrapped is the best. I'm quite proficient, as you well know.
Indeed, indeed. Indeed, that's what we hear.
Yeah, Mom. I mentioned that earlier in the broadcast that my mom's pretty good with gifts.
Indeed. So hit the capture button again. 1, 2, 3 apps was the next one that we dealt with, right?
Remind me, I'll send you the shortcut so you can start making gifs of your own face from videos. Yeah. I feel like I would enjoy a special gift collection just of my mom's face.
Indeed. So last one is, hey, we built an easy gift. All right, great. And again, I actually like how more the multi-step process of having to do it on a Chromebook. It was just more steps, but it wasn't that big of a deal. So I've got those 3 in the side there. So I'm gonna go here to Gift Maker. When I go into Gift Maker, it's gonna say choose the files. Great. And actually I'm gonna do this. So on the Macs, if I I'm gonna drag all these on. Let's save this really quickly. I'm gonna bring these. I'm gonna download this file really quickly. One, don't put it in desktop, put it there. Save. 2, I'm gonna download that. Yep. And then 3, download that. And then 4, download that. So again, if you're gonna do like directions or something like that, choose file. I want those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open. 4 files. Upload and make the GIF. It'll take a second. I like Easy GIF because it's free. And the 3rd graders, the 4th graders, and 5th graders all use the same kind of method. And that's a pretty straightforward process. On the iPads, again, Keynote pushes things out this way. There's a lot of really cool stuff, and Webb's kind of mentioned the. All right, so in terms of equalizing them, they're all different sizes. Is what it's saying. Do you want to crop them to match the smallest one of them? Yeah, resize them all. It's totally cool. All right, great. What's the delay between them all? All right, I'm just gonna leave it at the 20th of a second. So that works. I'm not going to crossfade. I want to go one each of the frames one after another. So hit that, make a GIF there. And you'll see that, oh man, that's really, really fast. What if we slowed it down some? All right. So let's say we did it 40 and made a GIF. And this is where that kind of playing around with iterating, that's really fast too. But I made it faster than that. Let's see if the delay was like 80.
I think this is an important process too, because you can kind of adjust it in a couple different ways. Like there is value to figuring this out on your own. It's going to stick better because you're iterating through it and using these lessons to kind of tune what you know about the process. That said, sometimes you want to cut the amount of time a process takes for your students because you're more concerned about what the output of the content is versus them learning the process. And that could be a thing where in that particular moment, you just want them to be able to output the content. You don't care so much about them learning the process. Maybe you'll have them learn the process at a later time. And so that's a balance and a call that you can make as the teacher. If you go through this process and you know, okay, set it to about this, this will probably get what you need as far as like the speed. This is about the size you'd want. If you can cut down some of that work for them in one particular instance and worry about them tweaking that process later, that may be the route you want to take, and that's perfectly fine. And you have to consider like what your frustration level is, what their frustration level is, how much scaffolding is needed there. And I would generally encourage that anytime you're introducing a new tool, and I think we've talked about this before on the show, do it in a very low risk environment. So give them a task that isn't an assignment that's due. Make it something where if it got deleted, they wouldn't care and neither would you. So that way it reduces their concern for making it perfect, and they can just experiment with the tool and play around with the tool with a purposeful activity, but without having to worry about, oh my gosh, my work's going to be deleted and I'm going to get failing grade and what am I going to do? And like reduce that stress so that they don't associate that stress with this new tool. Yeah. Same goes for you as the teacher learning it. Like don't try to use this tool for the first time for a high stakes assignment that you're also trying to, or lesson you're trying to work on.
Well, this kind of stuff is like for this entire tool is for tinkering. So it's another situation where like the third, fourth, and fifth graders, those age kids generally come in and start messing with stuff and they'll do it wrong. And they're like, all right, I did it wrong. So what? I wouldn't have the kinders do anything like this. A lot of different steps. The video to GIF, is not as there's not as many steps and it's pretty straightforward. The other thing to add to it is Photopea. If you wanted the kids to start playing around with some of the Adobe Illustrator type functionalities, really customizing it and making it look really, really cool, you can do that as well. But that's kind of a higher level. If you have some experience with Adobe Illustrator, this is going to make a lot of sense. If you don't, then I would say don't bother this unless you go like on YouTube and watch. Like it's not super difficult. It would just be a situation where you would have to know what all of these do and when you bring things in, what the layers are going to do for each part of the GIF. But Photopea is free if you do not have the Adobe Creative Cloud on your devices. So, Webs, anything else?
No.
All right, cool in the gizzang. So, gifts, great ideas for holiday stuff as well. So if you wanted to have like your kids create gifts of bells ringing or Santa Claus going down with his sleigh or a Hanukkah menorah or the 12 days of Kwanzaa or whatever it is that you do, you can deal with that. Gifts of different types of winter celebrations, kind of a cool idea to deal with. Projects, if you were doing winter celebrations and you want to have kids integrate gifts into them. Again, most places that are going to take pictures or image files are going to also take gifts. Excuse me, not 100%. That's not 100% true, but it is, I'd say, pretty true now. Would you say, Webbs?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. There's a few exceptions, and sometimes you have to tweak how you bring it in. Like I don't know if this is still true, but for a while, Gmail, it would work if you dragged it into your email, but if you tried to add it, it wouldn't, like insert it as an image, then it wouldn't be the GIF format. So sometimes you have to tweak how you bring it into the thing, but I think most Slide decks will let you integrate GIFs. You can do them in email. You can do them over social media. Twitter has even integrated GIF search. So you have lots of options, and Giphy's there to add them anywhere you can embed stuff, anywhere you can add a link.
Which I totally didn't think about. So, but other thing is, given the older students are going to want to have GIF accounts or Giphy accounts, I just turn my blind eye. Most of the stuff from Giphy is kind of innocuous. Every now and then you'll find one that's like, yeah, that probably was not the best GIF on Giphy to like have up there.
Giphy is integrated with Slack. They have a Slack integration. That's what we use for our Slack in my work instance. And something odd that I've noticed is if you search for a term that doesn't have a lot of things that come back, you get like weird suggestive GIFs that don't seem to fit what you're looking for at all. Like
suggestive as in like
soap opera level physical intimacy.
I got you. Yeah, I mean that's where I was gonna like, oh yeah, let's create Giphy accounts, and then I was like, nah. I started like going through to see what's
You could create a custom library if you find some that are appropriate and start dumping them into a Google Drive folder. Then you have a custom library that you could share with your students.
Yeah, but I mean, the mistake that I made was I showed them what Giphy was. And so then it was like, oh yeah, and then people started going through it, and I started like, perhaps that was not the smartest thing that I should have done. Like,
we are human, we all make mistakes.
Yeah, but it was also a situation where you can't find like patently offensive terms in Giphy. It's just there's stuff underneath that if you suggestive stuff that you're like, oh, okay, dude, really? Like, really? Now this kid's going to tell his mom, hey, Mr. Lang showed us this great tool, Giphy, and now I've got, days,
eggplant
days of our
emoji
lives or whatever, and then, Dallas gifts and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Indeed. So the last thing, kind of to Webb's point, is just putting them in Canvas. And again, there's a number of ways to do this, and I know we're over, but it's going to take me like 2 or 3 minutes to do this very quickly, because it really is kind of important that you, if you utilize them inside of the Canvas, which hopefully everybody's going to be doing coming soon, that is possible and probable. So first,
let me get that ready.
First, oh yes, please. First and foremost, you're going to see these 3 downward facing dots. They moved our embed. It looks like a cloud now, a cloud with the 2 carrots. Great, the embed code is there. So if I go to Giphy now, and when I open Giphy up, great. I'm gonna go to I Can't Tell Time No More because that looks like it's hilarious. Hit that embed code. I want to make it responsive, so if there's any kids using iPads or phones to access my content, I have that. So I'm gonna copy that, and then I'm gonna go right in here, and I'm gonna place my. So one of the things that Giphy does do that's rather weird is the content is there inside of Canvas. I just can't see it, and I'm not going to see it, unfortunately, until I hit the save button, and then I will see it. All right, cool. Now that's super big. How can we change the super bigness of that? I'm going to go back to the edit button, and this is a trick we looked at, like, I think at the beginning of our run here with the show webs, is using the tables. All right, so if you missed that show, we're going to have a cohort that's coming up for Canvas users, 10 sessions. I believe we can get it done in 10 sessions, 10 hours, with a couple of those things you can go home and try or whatever. But we're going to build inside here very, very quickly a table. And so when I go inside here, my tables are there. I'm going to build a table that's 3. Let's go here. All right, cool. And I want that GIF to sit in the center here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put embed GIF here. And I'm going to center that because I want that to be in the middle of that deal there, right? All right, cool. So this came from like months of like being frustrated The embed here deal, that's going to tell me where I'm putting my code at. I'm going to go back to classically to the bottom to show me everything. And I'm going to go right there in the middle. And replace that. And you'll see that it fits right there where I want it to fit now. Generally, it fits right where it was. One of the carrots I didn't get rid of. But that will fit a lot cleaner and a lot better where I want it to fit, rather than if I just paste that code in there, it's going to be the full size of that deal. You can go into Gifs and start playing around with the sizes if you would like, but that's generally how I constrict it to certain spaces inside of the table. And then as I go through things, everything's how I want it to be. You can also add the Gifs to discussions as well. So if you had a discussion, great. I want the kids to respond as a GIF. So I'm just gonna type some stuff there. Save. I want the kid to respond as a GIF. Click. What do I have here? I've got the ability to throw my embed code in there. Post reply. And there's another discussion thread. So you can do that same deal here. All right, so you can add that to Canvas with no worries. It works pretty well. What I'll say with Canvas is really fun because of the options. It's really frustrating at the same time because of all the options, but it's really fun because you can really customize your course in any way that you can imagine it. It takes Google Classroom and kind of, Google Classroom's kind of really good for training wheels, but in terms of like really going and really personalizing your content, it does not hold a candle to Canvas at all. They're in two different leagues.
I think too, Canvas is more designed for what the world should be when you're talking about distance learning. So the way distance learning has rolled out over the last 6 to 9 months has generally been garbage. But I think some of that is because we're trying to take the format of school and cram it into this different format, yep. But we're not changing anything. So you have these Canvas courses that are trying to be structured like we meet every day at the same time class, when in reality, the way Canvas should be used is for this asynchronous learning. And then you use a tool like Google Meet or Zoom to be able to have those real-time connections. Kind of like the Paint Your Canvas course will be.
Absolutely. So come through. It's $20, but it's half off for right now. So 10 sessions, $10. We'll have some more commercials and things that will start rolling out tonight. But the link was shared there, shared in social media, whatever. We're trying to get a number of people together to kind of create a PLN for people as well. I think that's really important that we have individuals that are learning together and able to pick each other up when we fall down as well. So look out for that. We're going to start this Saturday at 10. It'll be an hour, 10 to 11. That is it. You'll get a PDF document to kind of walk you through what you need to think about for pre-work. And we're going to be doing Canvas, but not simply learning Canvas, learning how to teach online in the 21st century, a meaningful, impactful way. So we've used.
I think too, it's a great opportunity to experience that from a student perspective. So the way the course is set up is you will have work that you do independently, asynchronously, and then there will also be the cohort meetings on those Saturdays. So you'll have an opportunity to really experience as a student. If you never have as a teacher, you'll be able to experience as a student what it's like to go through a course that should be built for what we're living through now. That asynchronous content that you then sync up once, twice, however often you need to sync up in order to have that support, but also you decide when you work on your things. You figure out when it fits into your day. So I think that's another really important takeaway if you are doing this cohort with us, that you can experience what that's like, and maybe it'll make you more comfortable building that content for your students as well. If you already signed up, see if you can find a buddy that you can bring with you so that you have someone super close to you to be able to talk to, share notes on, that kind of a thing. Share it with your current PLN, share it at your school, share it anywhere, because I don't think you can find a professional learning opportunity that provides this much support at the price point that we're talking about.
Yeah, you're not gonna. I mean, we're teachers, so we really cut corners and make sure that you have quality content at a price that is more than affordable. So That is it for this week's show, or this Sunday show. Thursday we'll be back with some more funk. Again, Saturday. It's just going to be 2 hours a month, and I guarantee you, you're going to be ready to create your coursework and whatnot in Canvas and be a superstar. And hopefully 2021, 22 is going to be a year in which you have a less stressful time at utilizing blended learning in like the realest context, like Webb's just said.
I'd say too, it's not limited to where we are. You can definitely share it with anybody else. We're meeting at 10 Pacific, so it's totally reasonable that, 11, 12, 1, it'd be 1 p.m. Eastern if you have someone on East Coast time. So any teachers that are looking to learn Canvas, or just share it with teachers and maybe they are looking to learn Canvas and you didn't know it.
Facts. All right. God bless America. God bless my Basotho people in Lesotho as well. We will see you on Thursday. Hasta la pasta.